Y'all, I want to talk about the war again. That dude, he had a good thing. I wish I'd have finished it, but I ain't. I really wasn't doing nothing, but I was going through something. I was on my way to doing something. But anyway, he got a pretty good man. I think his name New Breed, something like that. But anyway, um, me personally, with all I done been through in my life, when these changes occur, I would just prefer for it to be good people, better people. It ain't about what color on top. That is definitely not it. For me, that is definitely not it. It's about who on top, whether they good people or bad people. Right now, the bad is in charge, obviously, you know. It ain't got nothing to do with color, y'all. Color is not even that important no more. But if you was to say that, then you're gonna look at it like people like myself. You're gonna look at it like, well, you know, you just don't want to look at it in color, bro. Not right now, and probably not ever. And honestly, it's a good thing that it's kind of fading out. It's just about good people and bad people at this moment. Because there's a lot of people doing a lot of wrong. There's a lot of people doing a lot of bad. And like, I can just tell with my, I don't know, y'all gotta tap into yourself. You gotta meditate, pray, elevate. It's like, I don't know, I ain't gonna get into that. I'm gonna just change the subject. I'm gonna change the subject, y'all. But you got all these people, man. I don't even know what to say. The ones doing me wrong the most look like me. So to sit here and say I pray that you be in charge would be foolish. It would be foolish. That's all I'm trying to say. I just want good people to take charge, good people to stand up and stop being so submissive to everything, and stop falling victim to everything, and stop letting temptation confine them, basically. Because, man, it's bad out here right now. It's real bad. The stuff I had to deal with, y'all. And the women supposed, like when they tie me together, I'm gonna get off the other side. When they tie you together with people, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. Because you can see it in your contract. You can see it in your skin. You can see it. My issue is I done been through this with 4 to 5 women in 5 years. I haven't never, by being in the depths of solitude, I had to actually embrace these changes in a way where I ain't have TV and stuff to look at like that. So I got a chance to observe myself. And I seen it, bro. It's beautiful, man, to see the ancestors tie you up with somebody and take you off. Like, let me give you a more simpler way of looking at it instead of looking at the silk of the skin. It could be, I don't know if it get to this, I know it do somewhat, but let's say you got weak kidneys, you're born with weak kidneys or something, weak liver. When they tie you up with these people, you don't have these issues no more. That's what I'm saying. That's a beautiful part about it. So when you get with this twin or the twin flame, 9 times out of 10, she gonna be your, just like your brain. You got your left hemisphere and your right hemisphere. That's how that person gonna be in the best way possible. And not only is they your right and left hemisphere in your outlook of life and your atmosphere of life, but it's also in your internal of life, like in the way you think. Everything is just perfect. And I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it so these people can quit abusing it. And it's mainly like it's mainly like people who got money and stuff, who loose. Not in no like bad way loose, but in a good way, like free, who can do anything they want, got this and that. It'd be mainly with them because they got there's too many distractions. So I'm trying to talk to them because I done went through this with 5 women and I got to see the good and I really ain't even experienced no bad. When I linked up with a twin or a twin flame, I ain't even experienced no bad, even with the flame. And she was like the worst one out of all of them because she had so many bad habits. She was just broken when we got together, broken so bad. But it was a lot of good. She felt it. We felt it. Like I said, it was 2 rainbows in the yard. One in each window. We could see it together. We walked outside and looked at it. Rolled down the road, you know what I'm saying? We could be going somewhere. And we'll see 2 rainbows. It was always 2 rainbows. And when we started having issues and problems, we had already, and for about 2 to 3 weeks, we had started experiencing these supernatural occurrences, which was beautiful. So when she started snapping and listening to her pimp, that low-life scumbag on the phone, whoever it was that turned into a dog, when he told her to push the button on me and she listened to him, the devil basically, I asked her, she started fussing, going crazy, throwing tantrums. That's when she tried to cut me with that machete or that sword. And I said, you don't feel that? Because you can feel something inside your body, like that intense IV that people keep calling hyperventilating. I keep telling folks, you ain't smart enough to understand. You can't come over here with that kind of intellect and try to fool a person like me with that. Because I'm telling y'all, them hyperventilation, them kind of words, them kind of titles come from a more ancient, derogatory, if that's the word I'm saying, a more ancient, you know what I'm saying, not derogatory, but it comes from a more ancient time. And in other words, it could be like an IV, oxygen IV. It's an oxygen IV. And that's obviously you closest. I ain't never in my life hyperventilated. And that's why God didn't let me hyperventilate, because he knew these moments would come up. And when I got closer to my soul tribe, I started hyperventilating. But it ain't hyperventilating. I don't call it that. I call it IV, oxygen IV. Because I was born, my lung was born, I should have been hyperventilating as a baby. I should have always hyperventilated. So for me to just started it in 2020, I looked in the science of it and I just realized it. And then some people, some scientists, or some people in the industry world says it's when you get so many people like you. I believe that too. When so many people start looking at you and like you get it. You can look at it any kind of way. If people putting chips in you, I definitely believe that. I had so many, I've been in the hospital so much, ain't no telling what doctor did something. So I definitely believe that too. But if you ain't nobody throwing chips in you and stuff, that right there would kind of be far-fetched. But I noticed from studying, from testing, I noticed, because I did it myself. I did it 2 or 3 years ago. I was feeling it with somebody when I was on my path to my soul tribe. And then I intentionally, on purpose, went to another person that I didn't feel it. And I prayed not to ask God about it. And God was like, why wouldn't you follow the feeling? You know? So it's like, I'm trying to talk to these people who are free out there in the world. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you know, if something pulling you internally, you running from change. Because a lot of folks out there say, I want God, looking for God. You ain't looking for God, because if you were looking for God, you wouldn't keep running from God. And it's mainly my people, man. We got to accept change, bro. I done accepted change. I done accepted change. Change just don't look good. You know what I'm saying? Change start off rough. But it turns out to be the best thing in the world. The problem is with a lot of my people, you ain't even thought about experiencing change with nothing in your life the right way. So you always ran and aborted What we all got, everybody in the world must understand is, how often do you abort trials and tribulation? Yeah, you might get to your destination, but how often have you aborted trials and tribulation? And did you get to abort trials and tribulations every time they came into fruition? Then you wouldn't understand. If you have, and if you did, you wouldn't. And for a woman, it's easy to do that without me getting into the more talking in a way where I shouldn't be talking on social media. But for a woman, you can skip trials and tribulation real easy. So you got to be strong. That's why I said women are strong, much stronger than men, because you always got something attached to you that somebody gonna want to buy, somebody gonna want to purchase, even if it's just your DNA alone. And if you're a high vibrational female, you ain't got to. If you're a high vibrational female, they don't need your money. They just need your DNA. But in this situation, I got to study, because I've been stuck for 5 years. I got to study it with 3 to 4 women. And each one of them, I think one of them, I had more, the organs got healthier. And another one, the creativity, like the flame, the creativity advanced. It's like certain advancements. And the ancestors call it rent. Rent. So what do you get when you get with me? I keep telling her, I say this, I ain't gonna say it no more though. Well, I might will, because it's a good study. And let's say you rich and you got money and you come to me, okay, well, what am I gonna give you? You can't go to your car read. You can't go to nobody. When you trying to find a real lover, you can't go to nobody but God. So once you go to God and you pray and you meditate with God and you ask God, well, you ask God for something, He give it to you, but you ain't listening. So this is how you listen. I'm trying to show y'all how to listen and hear it loud instead of the little bitty teeny weeny still voice. I want you to hear it real loud. So what is it that you're hearing? What is it that you're seeing? The body. It's inside of you. So when you ask God about a lover, which is an easier example, and you want to be with this lover, the astro is going to marry you the traditional way. And you're going to be tied together in the astro before you even physically get together, period. All right, when you do this, you got to pay attention to your internal. In other words, you have to meditate and pray. Because when you meditate and pray, you go to this void. When you meditate and pray, you go to this quiet place, to the empty. When you get to the empty, you go to the empty, and what you're doing is you're going to the empty to your original self. You're going to the deep, into your original self. I like to call it melanin. Some people say it's just a dark place. Some people call it the empty. But you're going all the way to your original self. None of us really truly know our original self, which would be our higher self. And when you get to your higher self, the higher self is going to enlighten you, which will be your spiritual side. Because the higher self sit with God. All right, so what is what it is? Okay, now let me show you. Let me bring it from the, now I'm in the spiritual, but let me bring it to the physical. So how is you going to notice this in the physical? Okay, if this woman rich and she bringing, this is just a small level of explaining this. If this woman is wealthy or rich and she coming to me, let's say you go to a few friends, he ain't got this, he ain't got that, they slow, they karmics. At this point, if they high vibration and they conduit, and they say, they read the cards, and they say he ain't got this or she ain't got this or she broke, and I wouldn't do it, honey. I wouldn't sacrifice everything I do. I wouldn't do it. That's ratchet, for one. And they don't know no better. And that lets you know that you done met they plateau. The best thing that they could have did for you and the best thing that they have already done for you is guided you to the person. Now, if you guide it to the person, you investigate the person, and you realize this person is not your standard or what your standard might be in a quote-unquote, in the physical world, you're going to say, you're going to call that woman back or that man back. And you're going to say, well, they that, and in this situation, not even realize or realizing the fact that they done been sacrificed like myself. If you done been sacrificed, what you supposed to look good when you buried alive? Your atmosphere supposed to be beautiful, being buried alive. You supposed to have a nice car, nice clothes, and you supposed to have a nice house, buried alive. Okay, if that's what you think. All right, now you go call them and you gonna tell them all this. Now you already done paid them. They know you pay good. So they intellect, they spiritual intellect, they common sense, they wokeness is gonna go slap out the window because they see that check now. So you shouldn't even went back to them because they already gave you the good answer. I had to learn this in the street. You go to somebody get some answers, your ears in the street. You wanna deal with somebody, or you got some game stuff going on, and you wanna research about the group. The first answer you get should be your last answer and the best thing you got to go on. You keep going back, they gonna plot on you. I said something then. Sorry, streets, but these people are not listening. Y'all listen, but you ain't getting it. So let me get to this point. Let me wake you up. Let me show you how this works. Now I'm trying to show everybody how to find real lovers. Not no lust, not all this lust and making these babies after babies. What we want, another 8.2 billion for nothing? We can't keep doing that. We want to go back in the right direction where people know if you go in the right direction, the love and the sex and all that's gonna be great. So it ain't no point in you if you start scouting after you get all this. If you start looking at other departments after you get all this, then it's really irrelevant. And nobody, even including yourself, don't even know why you doing it. And that right there for me is better than you just going the wrong way. Because at least by you doing it while you already going the right way, you're going to always question yourself. Your conscience going to wake up. And you always check yourself and say, I need to stop. That's good enough. Then if you're going the wrong way, you're gonna approve the wrong way. You're gonna fund the wrong way. You're gonna promote the wrong way. Publish the wrong way. We got to stop going that way because the population growing, the ignorance is growing, the adolescence is growing, all the bad is growing. Obviously, somebody sold their soul, warped the energy for everybody to go the wrong way. We need everybody to go the right way. Okay? So you call these people and you saying this, okay, now you got money to offer in the physical. Now, you must understand your intellect from here. And by understanding this, the devil going to come to you and get you to emulate the lover. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a trick. If you're watching this lover and you start taking on the characteristics of this lover without trying to emulate this lover, that's a sign from God that that's your lover. Okay, now what you going to get out of this? What you going to get out of this? Well, you might have been a brilliant person. You might have been a business-oriented person, but you wasn't good at dissecting. You didn't have that spiritual wealthiness. That's what spiritual wealth is, when you can dissect the Bible, when you can understand when you can fully understand the Bible to the point where when people have problems, you can explain these issues. When people have problems with me, when they come to me, I don't only tell them, I don't only say, well, in the Bible, this and that, and calm their spirit. I show them how to fix that problem. And right then and there in that moment, and I ask them and I look them in the eye, do you really want to fix the problem? And sometimes I get a good answer, sometimes I get a bad answer. But the beautiful thing about the situation is they got an answer. And the next time they come around, because I had to make it like that in these streets. I don't like people repeat themselves, come back, man, you remember these times, remember we used to do this, man, remember, yeah, man, we used to, please, female, quit emulating me just to get $1. Because this information got to get out. Y'all crippling us. That's why I say, one of my teachers said, and he was real about it, when the women wake up, the world will wake up. Because everybody going to follow that woman. I'm just a different breed. I know better. I'm a whole man. I know I take care of myself. I wash my own clothes, cook my own food. I can make my own money. I don't need nobody to take care of me. So, all right, now. So once you got this, once you got that, once you understand that the devil gonna come to you and get you to emulate. Don't emulate. And if you do emulate, if you have already started emulating, how can you figure it out now? The IV. If you don't want to listen to the IV, because there's somebody on the other side saying the IV is an industry thing, as if the industry is connected to us unless somebody put chips in everybody. Okay, well, how do you know it after that then? The mind. You've been in your mind your whole life. You've been having your mind your whole life. You know exactly how your mind work, function, and think. If your mind has advanced in a certain way since you've been trying to connect with this person, that's your other sign. That's your other sign. With me, it's way more. That's just an example. It's way more though. You get both sides. You get like the best of both worlds. If you get with a twin or a twin flame, you get the best of both worlds. I don't really see no wrong, no bad habits. When you get with karmics and stuff, y'all share bad habits and bad stuff. But when you get with the twin, when you get with the twin and twin flame, you share the best of both worlds. It's almost like whatever bad was in the both of y'all is gone. It's like a new beginning. So that's why I'm asking y'all, why are y'all, it don't make sense for y'all to even sacrifice. That's why other nationalities, when they sowing their royal oats, they protect that person that they know that they supposed to be with until they calm down. And if they don't want to be a lover with them, they be friends with them. And that's what creates soulmates. Soulmates is actually there too, but I'm just saying, if you don't want to be a lover to your twin or twin flame, obviously they're going to fit in the soulmate category. I experienced this through experience though, dog. This ain't no technology telling me I had to go through this. I learned this because I was born and raised in the street. I got tired of whole prostitute, drug dealers, and fraudulent criminals, and white collar criminals and everybody else. That's all I had to date, bro. And I got tired of it because they always practice on their lovers. And I said, I want me a lover. So I ain't got to deal with that and I can just move up in life. And then I've been on this path ever since. You get a twin or a twin flame or a soulmate, that's 45 to 100 years of life with them. You ain't got to worry about all that other stuff. If you going to cheat on them, you ain't going to cheat on them. Because the love is good, everything good. And the beautifulest thing that I found very intriguing is the fact that however much one of them like to, you know, when it comes to love, however much one of them like to love, somehow y'all both like the same amount of love. So